So this tutorial, I'm going to do the Sue's Sweet Tea Helpful Heifer series, and I know they're going to put a video out this on their YouTube channel, but I thought I'd just get it out there, and it's okay if it's helpful or not, but this is what you need if you are making it. I did get a kit from the Quilted Cow, and it makes 2 of these. It's like a little wallet to carry your teas or honey sticks in if you're going out and about. So this is my kit here, and everything is cut into place. I have my 2 exteriors, I have my 2 linings, I have my interfacing, which came with the kit, cut for each one. I have my pocket pieces cut for both of them, and then my snaps that are going to get put in so your Sweet Tea little wallet can snap shut. So first thing that you're going to do is you are going to take your interfacing, and this is a nice medium weight, and you're going to fuse it to your the main and lining pieces. So I only ended up, I read the pattern wrong, cutting 1, so you have to have 2, 1 for the main and 1 for the lining. So if you've not used interfacing before, if you just feel it, there's one side that's like super smooth, and there's one side that's like rough and bumpy. That side that's rough and bumpy is your glue side. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric, and you want the wrong side, and you're going to lay that on top of the rough and bumpy side. And you're just going to line everything up, and if this does touch your iron, it's not nice for this glue to touch your iron. So if you are, super careful, put a pressing sheet over it, put a piece of wax paper over it before you press it. If you're really confident everything lines up, it's not going to be touching your iron. Or you can lay it on and then trim it up. If you see anything sticking out, then just go ahead and press it to fuse it. So I just hold my iron down like 5 to 8 seconds and then move it 5 to 8 seconds all over until it is fused. And so I will do that to both that one, and I will fuse that one to that one, that piece of interfacing, and then we'll be back. All right, so once those are fused, then you're going to come over here and take your larger pocket piece, and you are going to bring that down, and you are just going to fold that with wrong sides together like that. And then you're going to take that over to the iron and give that a good press. Once you pressed it in half, which mine is there, it opens up, then you're going to want to come up here to where the fold is, and then you're going to want to top stitch all the way down. You can just do a straight stitch, you can do a decorative stitch, about 1/8 of an inch in. Okay, next you're going to make your shorter pocket pieces. So here's mine, it's stitched. I have this kind of light pink for that side and a dark gray on that side. You're going to grab these pieces that are going to make your shorter pockets, and they are rectangles, so one side is longer. So you're just going to put them right sides together, just like that, and you can clip, you can pin, and then you're going to sew a 1/4 of an inch seam on both your long sides. So I'm going to sew here down, and I'm going to sew here down, and I'm going to sew on one of the short sides, because I'm assuming that the other short side gets put in the raw edges when you're sandwiching everything together, and will get sewn into your seam later once you do that. So you're going to want to do that with both of them. Again, right sides together. If you have directional fabric, be mindful of your directional fabric, but again, long sides and then one short side. All right, so now that you have them sewn, both long side and short, you're going to want to take your scissors and clip the corners in the corners that you've sewed on both sides. Don't clip the corners up here where you have the open part. So just take and clip close to your seam, but not in your seam. This will help reduce the bulk when you go to turn it inside out. And I've done both of them. I'm doing both of them together. All right, so now that you've clipped the corners, you just want to poke everything out. So turn everything inside out. And if you have something that helps you, like the Quilted Cow sells the teal thingies, you can use that. If you have some type of point turner, you just want to be gentle, like go really gentle in your corners because you do not want to poke your way through your fabric, but you also want to get nice 90-degree corners as best as you're able to. If you don't have something like this, I've used the back end of a paintbrush, a really skinny paintbrush, a pencil really gently, a chopstick, just anything that you have that will help poke out your corners really gently. So now that you have it turned inside out, you're going to take this to the iron and you're going to press it nice and flat, and then you're just going to top stitch all the way around about 1/8 of an inch. All right, no, I'm sorry, top stitch. I'm reading it again. I thought I read it right. Hold on. All right, so now that you have them sewn, both long side and short, you're going to want to take your scissors and clip the corners in the corners that you've sewed on both sides. Don't clip the corners up here where you have the open part. So just take and clip close to your seam, but not in your seam. This will help reduce the bulk when you go to turn it inside out. And I've done both of them. I'm doing both of them together. All right, so now that you've clipped the corners, you just want to poke everything out. So turn everything inside out. And if you have something that helps you, like the Quilted Cow sells the teal thingies, you can use that. If you have some type of point turner, you just want to be gentle, like go really gentle in your corners because you do not want to poke your way through your fabric, but you also want to get nice 90-degree corners as best as you're able to. If you don't have something like this, I've used the back end of a paintbrush, a really skinny paintbrush, a pencil really gently, a chopstick, just anything that you have that will help poke out your corners really gently. So now that you have it turned inside out, you're going to take this to the iron and you're going to press it nice and flat. All right, and then after you pressed it, you're just going to choose one long side, doesn't matter which one unless you have directional fabric. You're going to top stitch along the top edge of one long side. All right, so now you're going to take your lining piece and your long pocket piece that you made, and you're going to lay it on top of your lining piece, raw edge. This is a raw edge to raw edge. And you're going to baste stitch. I just sew really close to the bottom all the way down, and that helps hold it in place, or you can use a lot of pins and clips. And then measuring from here in, oops, I measured it wrong the first time. From here in, you're going to measure for a pocket, and then I measured from here in to make my second sew line, and then this ends up being the third pocket. And then I'm going to take this to machine and just sew up on these lines, and then that will divide this long pocket into 3 smaller sections. All right, so now that that is stitched in place, from the bottom edge, you are going to measure up according to the pattern, okay? And I drew my lines here that are going to be my guides for my small pocket placement. So I'm going to take my small pocket and I want my top stitching to face up, and I want the raw edge to match the raw edge here. So I'm just going to come and I'm going to place that matching my line there that I sewed for placement. And here's my other one, raw edge to raw edge. Okay, and then I am going to, sorry, gotta get out of the shot there. And then I'm going to pin these in place, and then I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna sew here 1/8 of an inch, and I'm gonna sew down here 1/8 of an inch to sew it on to my lining piece. And same here, I'm gonna pin it, and then I'm gonna come over here and sew down 1/8 of an inch, and then over 1/8 of an inch. So this is what it looks like when they're all sewn. You can see right here I've sewn there and sewn there, and then you still have the pocket. This hasn't been connected yet because it will be connected in once you sew or sandwich the line, not the lining, this is the lining, the main piece with it, and sew everything in. All right, so now you're gonna lay both pieces together, right sides together. So this is my outside fabric, my main fabric, and this is my lining. And you're just gonna match everything up. And you can pin, you can clip, but you wanna leave, according to the pattern, how long they say of an opening to turn everything inside out. I left mine at the top, so it wouldn't interfere, because down here I'm sewing that raw edge in with the main fabric. So I left mine at the top. And so now I'm just going to sew all the way around. Make sure you back tack when you end and back tack when you begin. And then we're going to clip the corners close to the seam all the way around to reduce the bulk. And then we'll turn it inside out, give everything a good press, and probably do some top stitching and then put our snaps in. All right, so there's what it looks like with it top stitched all the way around. I've gone ahead and clipped around my corners, and now I'm going to go ahead and turn everything inside out. All right, so here's what it looks like turned inside out. And this one I cut a little bit shorter, and I didn't want to piece a strip together. So if you cut yours to the right measurements, you'll have a little bit more space up here than I do. So I'm going to just play with mine, and my second one that I cut over there is the correct measurement. So when I do that, I'm going to have the right space that I need up here. But that was just my bad, but it will work out. So here there's my opening, and I folded my fabric under and gave it a good press. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to top stitch all the way around, and that will sew that opening closed. And then we'll install our snaps. All right, so now that you've top stitched, you're going to need to get your snaps out. And you need 4 of these, your smooth coverings, because those are going to connect into your, I always forget which one I want to say these are the sockets and these are the studs. But anyway, you need 2 of those and 2 of those. And so on here, it's going to fold this way. Okay, so like short pocket to short pocket, it's going to fold. And so we want to place one here and one up here. And mine's going to be a little tight because, again, I cut mine a little short, but I'll make it work. Okay. And then the other 2 will go down here. It doesn't give measurements, so I'm just going to measure in, I don't know. Let's see. Let's pull out a ruler and see where I want to place them. So maybe I'll do about a 1/2 inch in on each side. I mean, you could probably, yeah, looks like about a 1/2 inch on each side I'll go in. Because if you do a 1/2 inch on this side, well, that's a 1/2 inch. That's a 1/4 inch. I'll probably end up doing a 1/2 inch on each side. I'll let you know after I get these installed, but I'll probably install these along with you so you can see how they're installed. All right, so hopefully this works out. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure in. I'm going to place mine 1/2 inch. If you're making yours and you want it in any further or less, just measure out. And I'm going to do about right here. And then I'm going to do mine about right. Oh, man, it's close. Right here. I'd do up more if I had more space, but that's just going to be what it is. Okay. And I'm not measuring the other side yet because I want them to match up when I'm done. So now that I've got my holes, my outline for where I want my holes, there's lots of different tools you can use. I'm going to use my seam ripper. And I just put my seam ripper through the middle of my marking. And you just want to be really gentle. Go too fast and you're going to rip way too much. So I'm just going to kind of, I don't know, how do I explain that? I just go a little bit. I kind of turn my seam ripper and just press a little bit each way to kind of open up a hole. So once I have my opening, I want the part with the smooth side, I want that to go in the back where my main fabric is. And then I'm just going to pop that through. I'm going to pop that through. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. That's what it looks like from the back. And then I just take, you know, whatever piece you want. It doesn't really matter if you get it messed up. And it just snaps. It just snaps in. Oop, I'm shaking a little bit. I just press down. And if your fingers aren't, if it hurts your fingers to press, You know, my seam ripper has a nice bottom. I just get it kind of aligned, and then I take my seam ripper and gently press down, but I press down enough until I hear the snap. So now I'm going to come up to this hole, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my seam ripper in, and I'm just going to carefully start to kind of open up a hole. And when I feel like I've got enough, not too much, because this only covers so much of your hole and you don't want it super loose, put that through the back till it comes to the front, and make sure you've got a nice, I hope you can see that, a nice popping out of that side. And then you're going to take the matching one to what you already used. It doesn't matter if you get them messed up, but take the matching one if you want it matchy-matchy. Line it up. And I hope you heard that. It just snaps in so easy. All right, so now I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to fold this like that, okay? And so now that I've got my exterior, I can feel, I'm going to do this one first. I can feel where this is, this middle part is. And you can either mark it with a pen, but I'm brave. I just take my seam ripper and I feel where that top part is, and then I stick my seam ripper right through it, and then I just gently start making the opening. And then I take my other pieces, and you want the smooth side going in the main fabric. And if my hole's not big enough, I'll go back in with my seam ripper, but it definitely is. It popped out there. And then I just take my other part, I think this is the socket part, and you just, my fingers aren't strong enough for this one, so I'm just gonna, there it goes, it finally clips in. All right, and so then I can snap those into place, and now I need to do my other one. So lining everything up, I just feel for where it is, and I know where the middle is, and then I stick my seam ripper in, and then I just gently start opening up a hole there. And very gently. I almost ripped this once, and I thought my project was a goner. Luckily it wasn't. Okay, smooth side. It's gonna go through there. And you're gonna manipulate your fabric with your thumbs if you need to. I have a little string that's going over the middle there, so I'm just gonna take my seam ripper and help move that out of the way and press things down around the edge there. Then I'm gonna take my other piece and just, see, I don't know, my fingers have a hard time getting that one, and I'm just gonna make sure, I heard the snap, but I'm just gonna make sure, oh, it used a little more, so. And there it is, all my snaps are installed. All right, so with your snaps installed, then all you get to do is fold them, and they should, yeah, it's really hard. I gotta practice doing this more one-handed. And there we are, just like that. Now, if you want to place these anywhere else, I mean, you can. This is your project. And then in here goes your tea bags, and in here, you know, if I put a tea bag in here, it might interfere with this snap unless I trim my tea bag down. That's why my next one is cut with the correct measurements, so this won't be so close to my pocket and I won't have to worry about that. And this is where your honey sticks would go if you choose to put honey sticks in there. But anyway, this is again your, it turned out really cute. All right, this is your Sue's Sweet Tea. Hope you enjoy, and happy sewing.